It's been a good 8 or 9 years since my last CrossFit workout, but I am still a fan of the sport and love watching it, especially the CrossFit Games. So in this video, I'm going to give you my take on the 2024 CrossFit Games. First off though, just after watching the semis, one thing I knew for sure is that Tia Toomey's back, and the only question on the women's side is who's going to get second place this year. Now on day one, I was getting online trying to find a link to watch the games when I came across the horrible news that Lazar Jukic had drowned in event number 1. That was just shocking. I don't know how that could have happened in that scenario. And rather than point fingers and blame, at this point, I'm going to let the authorities do that, people who are investigating it. But just a horrible, horrible way to start things off. Obviously, they canceled the remaining events that day. Some of the athletes withdrew, like Laura Horvath and Jeff Adler, the 2 returning champs from last year, along with some other athletes. Can't say I blame them one bit, nor can I blame the athletes that decided to go ahead with the games. You think about how stressful it would be to start off the first event with the death of a competitor and friend of yours, and that would just mess with you. So after the games, I saw several interviews with some competitors, and some of the words they described the weekend was, they said it sucked, they were angry, they were numb, they were in denial. It's obviously not the usual CrossFit Games we're used to. Also, CrossFit's under a lot of criticism for just continuing with the games. A lot of people said they should have just canceled the entire thing. I can respect that point of view, but at the same time, we're talking about a lot more than just 80 elite athletes. We've got the teams, the age groups, the adaptive athletes, the volunteers, the sponsors. You've got your business contracts, all that kind of thing. And something of that's like the Super Bowl of CrossFit. That's not the kind of thing you just say, okay, we'll just do it in 2 weeks. So I feel bad for them in that regard, but it's just a no-win situation either way. Okay, so day number 2, when they started the event with Midline Climb, I was enjoying watching that, but I could not believe how many trolls there are. I had the comment section open on YouTube watching it, and I can't believe how much bad information, how much fighting online. So I just had to disable that just because it's just such a distraction and there's just so many trolls out there. The next event was Firestorm, which was a quick and exciting challenge. After that, though, I was really looking forward to the track and field. It's nice to see these athletes. A lot of times they do things that are just quick, powerful things, but to see them run the 1,600 meters when they're gassed from the part 1 of that same challenge, it was kind of fun to see. And I was really impressed with Ricky Gerard and Tia Toomey, the speed they ran at. You look at these guys and you compare them to the Olympics, and it's like, man, they're not that fast, but they're packing a lot of muscle. They're pulling so much more weight. So just the fact that their bodies like that and they're putting in that type of speed, really impressed with their running abilities. The next event was Chad, which was totally brutal. Basically, they had a structure where you'd have to step up, take 10 different steps to get up to one side and down the other, and then you'd repeat it going back and forth. So just really monotonous, a lot of step climbing. I thought they might have them do this maybe like 50 reps or something like that, but apparently the Impractical Joker guys were in charge of programming here and said, let's have them do it 250 times. So people were just dying by the time they finished this. I also noticed at the end of this event, there were some more withdrawals, probably due to injury from the fatigue from that event. The next event was the clean ladder, and this is where I noticed and was kind of surprised that Sprague was still up in the top. I thought the first couple events might have been a fluke, but he was really competing well. I hardly even remember his name from last year, so that was a big surprise. Also, watching some of these events, it kind of dragged out. I'd see the team stuff, and I'd skip through that and wait that, but then the first couple of heats, also when people are in last place, it's not as exciting to watch. So I found myself kind of forwarding through to the top 2 heats, the top 20 competitors who are in contention for that. The next event was push-pull. And this again reminded me one reason why I don't do CrossFit anymore. So much handstand push-ups, walking on your hands, all that crazy stuff that I'm never in a billion years going to be doing. Still fun to watch, and it was pretty intense workout. The final 2 events were 18-15 and 24-21. These again were back-to-back. I kind of like that format to see you just go from one to the other each heat. These final couple events were very exciting to watch just because you had so many athletes right next to each other score-wise, and it could have gone, 5 or 6 guys could have won it depending on the outcome of those last 2 events. So it was nice to see a close finish, very exciting. Anyway, congratulations to Sprague, Pepper, and Fikowski, and then on the women's side, Toomey, Magala, and Rolf. One thing that really surprised me on the men's side, I was expecting Ricky, Roman, Pat, or Justin to be able to medal or podium. I was totally expecting that, so I was surprised to not see them do it. But congrats to those that did. This year, I didn't find myself really rooting for any particular competitor like I had in the past, so it's not like I had as much skin in the game, but it was nice to see Dallin, Pepper, podium. I was glad about that. I was rooting for Haley, but again, that 4th, 5th always seems to finish just right outside there. It was a little bit frustrating. And congratulations to Sprague with a very impressive performance. I know there was a lot of kickback, at least in comments and from some of the viewers. Every time they'd ask him a question and put a microphone in front of his face, you'd get a couple scriptures quoted and it turned into a Sunday school lesson. The guy's a born preacher. I admire his zeal and his testimony and his commitment and not being afraid of doing that. But I think he might win some more fans if he's a little more subtle with it. My hat's off especially to Tia Toomey again, just showing that she is the GOAT, even more dominant than Fraser and Froning and so many other great CrossFitters on the men's side. Makes me wonder how long she'll keep going. Anyway, overall, this weekend, I'd say it felt a little bit empty. It's not the usual exciting experience. Obviously, you've got the whole Lazar Jukic tragedy weighing down on everyone, just a dark cloud over the whole thing. So it's hard to have that fun and excitement that you usually do each year. Thought the athletes performed great though despite that, but still it just wasn't the same. I'm hoping by next year they're able to resolve any of these problems they've had, especially the safety protocols. They can make some improvements in CrossFit and they can get back to the usual excitement and fun that the CrossFit Games have been in the past. Feel free to check out my other videos and like and subscribe.
Push the button.
Do it.